I think I like Brooklyn Nine-Nine for the exact same reasons as I like Terry Pratchett's Discworld books, specifically the City Watch series, which, if you don't know, it follows essentially a local precinct of cops, but British, because Pratchett, and set in like a pseudo-medieval fantasy society that is undergoing its own industrial revolution and is also having like a nationalism crisis. And these books aren't new. They weren't new when I read them. I want to say they came out like 95 through 97. But like, there's a scene in one of them where Sam Vimes, of the Sam Vimes boot theory, you've heard me talk about him on here before, hears about like some growing nationalist tension, and he hears one of his very good friends, also one of his officers, but like one of his good friends, saying like the same casually racist things that he's been saying for years. Things that they've both been saying for years about some foreigner that like they are all perfectly friendly with. And Vimes calls his friend into his office and he says, no, we're not going to do that anymore. Like, I know you've been doing this for the last 30 years. I know I've been doing this for the last 30 years. But it's not that it's all of a sudden offensive. It's been offensive this whole time. And we're all going to stop. It is time to be better. And like, yes, it's silly. It's absurdist. But there are moments of just like absolute, we treat people like people, we do not treat people like things. And we work hard to make the world a better place. Elements that really define Discworld the same way that I think Brooklyn Nine-Nine tends to define itself. But like, let me break down for you the experience of reading a Terry Pratchett story. It goes a little something like this. Like, here's a funny little joke. Here's something that you can tell is a joke but you don't get, and maybe you never will. Here's a really cool fantasy concept with like a very unique simile to describe it that will not make any sense to anybody that you ever try to describe it to who hasn't also read the book. Here is a commentary on society that has aged depressingly well. Here's the dumbest pun you've ever heard in your entire life. Here's the most terrifying and deeply disturbing concept that you've ever encountered that you never want to think about ever again. Here is a lesson about life and the way you live it, wrapped up in something that seems a little bit like a fairy tale, except the fairies are scary and you don't really want to think about that too hard either. Like, I'm rereading Hogfather right now, and like, here are a couple of quotes from that, just to give you an idea. Human beings make life so interesting. Did you know that in a universe so full of wonders, they managed to invent boredom? My personal favorite is on giving a child a sword as a holiday present. You can't give her that, she screamed. It's not safe. It's a sword, said the Hogfather. They're not meant to be safe. She's a child. It's educational. What if she cuts herself? That will be an important lesson. And in true Terry Pratchett fashion, the phrase, someone ought to do something, was not by itself a helpful one. People who used it never added the rider, and that someone is me. This is all to say everybody should read more Terry Pratchett.